Great. Good afternoon, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Sarah Flores-Sievers, and I'm the New Mexico WIC and Farmers Market Director. I will be presenting to you today. So before I get started, I just wanted to let you know, as Ashley mentioned, we will be taking all of the answers and questions you might have after this presentation at the end. So please jot those down throughout. Also, this PowerPoint that I'm presenting today will also be shared to you via email. And for anyone that's new, I just wanted to let you know, per our federal regulations through FNS, this is also a required training. So please bear with me as I have to read some scripted slides. It's just part of our training, so everyone get credit for. So thank you for your patience. And I look forward to the dialogue and your questions after. So the purpose of the program, our mission is to increase food security and reduce hunger by providing children and low-income people access to food, a healthful diet, nutrition education in a way that supports local agriculture. So an overview of the programs. Many of you are familiar with the 3 grants that we operate, but for the new folks that might be in audience, we have our FMNP, which is our WIC program, serving our WIC participants, infant, birth to 1 and children ages 1 to 5. Then we have our senior market program, which is for over 60 years of age with an income of 185 of federal poverty guidelines, and then our farmers market nutrition enhancement program, which we partner with NMSU to help support this program. Again, also for our seniors, but this time it's at 130 of federal poverty guidelines. So distribution and benefits, moving forward to this next year, we're going to leave it at $30 per year. Again, offering only fresh fruits, vegetables, and cut herbs. No honey, eggs, or meat, etc. for the WIC participants. And again, these can be redeemed at the markets, roadside stands, and the farmers market and mobile markets. Also staying the same is going to be for our FMNP and our seniors is also the $50 distribution of checks. Same as last year, we're just trying to keep everything simple. Again, these checks will be issued, some at the state office, a lot through our senior centers, and then of course through our commodity supplemental food programs and food banks throughout the state. Again, these two can also be issued at approved farmers markets, roadside stands, and mobile markets as well. So part of these next few slides that I'm just going to share with you is what I observed from this last year working with Martin, who is now retired. Some of the things that we kept finding during our monitoring. So I just, again, wanted to share with you to help you really have a successful farmers market season. And again, this verbiage from these next 2 slides comes directly from your agreement. So hopefully this is no surprise to many of you. So again, just for definition purpose, a grower is an entity, nonprofit, for-profit, greenhouse, community farm, urban farm, etc., with less than 5 acres who can accept the 3 grant checks through an authorized farmers market. A grower must ensure that all of the total produce available for sale, 75% of it must be grown by the grower. Have at least 3 self-grown items for sale at all times. Be associated with the farmers market, and of course display the New Mexico WIC signed nutrition market program. The farmer grower must be prepared to demonstrate that all produce subject to the program was produced locally within the borders of New Mexico and or within an 80-mile radius of the market. If outside the New Mexico border, must be within the US. Reselling of any agriculture products is strictly prohibited. We did run into that several times this last year, so we really want to emphasize this is not allowed and can actually eliminate you from participating into the program. Checks may only be accepted from authorized markets. You may not accept them at roadside stands unless you have a roadside stand agreement. So if you have an agreement to display at a farmer's market, that does not mean you can also accept the checks if you happen to sell from your roadside stand for one of those weekends. We have 2 different agreements in place for that. So going over for our budget from last year to this year, so you can see the total that we did in 2020. Of course, as you all can imagine, COVID did have a huge impact on our programs, especially for the WIC families. As many as you know, we always try to be at the markets when we're issuing the farmers market checks to the WIC families to help guide them, answer any questions, and we pretty much get automatic redemption when we're there. As you can see, from 2019 to last year, we took a significant hit on that because, as you all were too familiar, we weren't able to be present at those markets. But as you can see, though, from 19 to 20 for our senior market program, we actually went up, and due in part was because we did a lot of more bulk purchasing. I don't know if all of you are aware, but we did receive some legislative grant funding, so we needed to get that spent. And so what we did was we partnered with several communities and farmers throughout the state to make the bulk purchasing happen, because the last thing we wanted to do was return any of those funds. Okay, and just as a reminder, fresh fruit, vegetables, fresh cut herbs, and honey for the senior only program is allowed. Another issue that we ran into, again, and I know nobody had any wrong intention, but unfortunately, meat, eggs, and other items were sold. WIC families and seniors were able to purchase with the farmers market checks. This is the biggest no-no. You could actually be fined and have to refund that money. Again, I can't emphasize enough, we cannot do any kind of substitutions. And I know last season was hard because of COVID, but again, moving forward, these are the only items that the WIC families and seniors are able to purchase. So again, for the civil rights, this is part of our required FNS training. Ensure that our 3 grant participants receive the same courtesies and services as all other customers, and to otherwise comply with all applicable United States Department of Agriculture regulations governing non-discrimination in services. Vendor expressly agrees not to discriminate against any of our program participants in accordance with federal law and USDA policy. This program is prohibited from discriminating again on the bias of race, color, national origin, sex, age, and disability. Okay, so for agreements, current agreements are valid through the 2020 season. We received numerous agreements last year, which is great. So most of you are all caught up. New grow agreements will obviously receive a code from the market or the state office. Returning growers will always use their assigned 4-digit code. And I can go over that in just a little bit more. And I'm sorry, I just realized that should be 2022. I will make that update before this PowerPoint is sent out to you. Okay, so for the check information, one thing I think you're going to be excited that we did change. Normally the last day to spend the checks is the weekend before Thanksgiving, and I heard I heard from a lot of you, and so we were able to make that adjustment. And so now the last day for participants to use their checks is November 29th. So after the holiday, so I hope that helps everybody. And then also we did extend the date for deposit by December 8th. So I hope that everybody's pleased by that. The check colors will be the same from last year, the sky blue, olive, and turquoise. And of course, check rejections. We did, I have to say, we see a lot of this, and these are the main things. You know, the farmer market number was missing, the stamp, and the signature. And so it's really timely because we have to go back and kind of investigate and look it up to find who this belongs to, so we know how to deposit it, because we need to make sure that you get paid. So I cannot emphasize enough to please make sure these checks are correctly filled out so we can pay you in a timely manner. Okay, again, just some things that we just kind of kept saying when accepting the checks. Like, as I mentioned before, there's no substitutions of any kind. You cannot offer any cash back. We do not accept any out-of-state checks. I know we border with Texas and they have a farmers market program, but unfortunately we're not able to take any of their checks. No, we are not able to charge any kind of tax. And of course, you want to make sure the checks are legit, they're not void, any fraudulent activity. So just friendly reminders of things to look out for. And again, this is really to your benefit. I can not, again, emphasize enough. I got so many calls that folks found checks, they were buried under something or they were misplaced and then they just kind of reoccurred. And so unfortunately, our numbers are a little, our final total sale redemption numbers are a little off because we did allow a few farmers to get those checks deposited after the fact with special FNS approval. Because of course we want to make sure you get paid, but unfortunately on the back end and everything that we had to go through, it just took a lot of negotiating, and thank goodness we could get it resolved. But again, please make sure you have the farmers make those deposits at the end of the week, every 2 weeks. We keep seeing that they just take a huge lump of checks to the bank, and things get lost or misplaced. We just do not want that to happen. And then of course you'll have your bank letter and then the local institutes. And for anybody that needs any of these documents, if you don't have your current ones that you received in your packet, please let me know, and I'm happy to resend those to you. And later on in this presentation, I'll also show you where you can download them from our website. Speaking of website, so hopefully you've all had a chance to visit our new and improved updated website. It is www.nmwic.org. And right here on the top bar, you can see you have your section of farmers market. You're going to click on that and you'll see the drop down, which you're going to click markets and vendors. And then from here, you can just kind of go into some information on how to become a vendor, just information about it. But really right here on the right-hand side, or maybe it's your left, depending on the screen, right here, if you click this little icon for documents, you will get the agreements, banking letter, anything that you've been sent is now saved here. So you don't have to wait on us and the snail mail, just to make it more user-friendly. So please let me know if you have any questions on how to navigate the website. We try to make it user-friendly, but again, I'm happy to help guide and navigate however I can. And of course, we have direct hyperlinks here to the Farmers Market Association and to all of the farmers market throughout the state. Okay, so I need everyone to take a deep breath because I know this is where it gets a little tricky. But we are finally moving to an automated service for next season. We're at a point where all of the banks are getting out of the check business. So unfortunately, we have no other option. Even if we wanted to stay on checks another year, we can't. Our current bank is getting out, and a lot of other major banking companies are no longer going to be distributing the checks. So with that said, as you've seen in prior years, we're still going to be doing the mobile application for our new way of providing services in the 2022 season. Again, it's going to be mobile to mobile, a secured app that you will get paid instantly, which is nice. So no more having to lose checks, go to the bank, which is wonderful. And then the client, once they want to, say if they pick up a bag of apples, they will either show you their phone with a QR code or a scan bar. Then you will scan that and the transaction is done. They can also shop at multiple vendors throughout the farmers market. They don't have to redeem everything just at one stand, which is nice. So you have that flexibility. And then also, if you do not have a phone, say the participant does not have a phone, then they can show you a piece of paper with the secure QR code or the scan barcode, and so forth. Right now, I have heard you in our last meeting last year. What about internet and farmers that do not have phones? So we are still working at that. So we will have more information to come and how we can maybe find a grant for folks that really don't have the latest and greatest phone. But if you have a phone that's even 6 years old, if you still have that and haven't upgraded, that phone actually is smart card capable. So again, we're going to do a whole list of questions to help prepare with this transition. I know change can be daunting, but I want to reassure you that we're going to do this together. And before the next season even begins, I want to make sure that there's going to be multiple trainings throughout the coming months. Whatever we can do to make sure this transition is smooth for everybody, I want to reassure that we're going to make that happen. And again, just like last time that I shared, this is really to your advantage. It's really going to streamline the process. But again, I do know the internet and phone issue is a big one. And again, we are looking into that. But again, unfortunately, we have no other option at this point because of the banking situation. So let me come over here. And I do want to finish with some good news. We are currently hiring right now for our market manager. The address is right here at spo.state.nm.us. If you are interested, or if you know somebody that's interested to oversee these 3 grants, so I encourage you to pass this along, because we really need someone who's passionate and cares about these programs. You know, we've really built up this program, and I want to keep that momentum. So until this position is filled, I am here to assist you the best that I can. And again, here's my contact information, and I am happy to help however I can. But again, I'm sure at this point we have a lot of questions. We normally do. So I'm happy to answer. So let me stop sharing.
All right, so we're going to promote you all to panelists, so that way you have access to your microphones and your video cameras. So we'll get started with the Q&A here in like 3 minutes or so, after everybody has been promoted to panelists. So hang tight, and we'll get you all in panelist set.
Has everyone migrated over, Michael and Ashley?
Not quite yet. We're almost there.
Okay.
Looks like there's a few more. And just to let you all know, if you could use the raise your hand feature, so then that way we kind of know which order you want to comment and who has questions. So you can find that in the navigation at the bottom of your screen. And now everybody has been promoted.
So there was one question that I just want to read to Sarah that came in through the, I'm not sure if it was through the chat or through the Q&A, and it's a good question about the new system, the auto. Actually, is the name of it? I saw a couple names on that. Is it Sola Market? Is that the name of the new EBT?
Yes.
Not EBT.
Yes, it's a Compurtibus Pay / Soli Market. Yes, we will shorten that.
Okay, Soli Market. So the question that came in from Liz was, farmers markets have had to stamp all the checks in the past. will we need to do anything like that with the mobile app?
Hooray. No, you will not. That will be eliminated. So everything, just a little bit more on the back end, not to get too technical, you will receive a secure online application to fill out your information. And then that's stored. And then that's the information for your ACH file of how you're going to get paid through the Soli market. So you've already been an approved certified vendor. So that's now on the back end. So the stamp will be removed along with the signatures and so forth.
So just to clarify, and then people can, raise their hands and ask you directly questions, but just to clarify, so when farmers will still have to sign their contracts, and then on the back end, they get approved, so that when they go to swipe the QR code, it recognizes them. Like, they will still have to have their contracts, right?
Yes, that is correct. And to help streamline that process too, we're trying to get everything online to do. So, because I know a lot of things get lost in the mail and it's very time consuming. So we're actually trying to do a secure kind of doc sign, if you will, because before FNS mandated that we had your official signature, they're being a little bit more lenient after what occurred. And so we're really hoping to leverage that and run with it. So again, just to minimize all of the mail and just get everything electronic. And again, when we get that done, that will be back stored on our website. So you'll have your whole site, so you can just work off that and email and send documents if you have that capability to do so.
I see raised hands. I'm not sure what order. There's probably a way of knowing what order they came in, but I do see a raised hand. Oh, is my screen from Jim, or from Kyle? Jim Kyle. You should be able to unmute yourself, and there you go.
Yes, good afternoon. And I was enjoying your presentation. And so I just had a few questions in mind as far as the increase of vendors. Has there been an increase of vendors that have you noticed from the past few years, and even as well as the shoppers?
Yes. So first, let me start off with the vendor question for you. I'm happy to share that New Mexico is the 5th largest and FNS is Food Nutrition Services from the USDA market in the nation. So we have really grown over these last several years, and I'm so proud about that. So yes, every year we are getting an increase of applicants for farmers, roadside stand, and market. So that's wonderful. So yes, we are seeing an increase. On the senior side, we always see an increase, and we're applying for more money because we just unfortunately don't have enough checks to meet the demand. So the demand is there. It's just my responsibility to try to find more money. So yes, for seniors, WIC is the tricky one. When COVID hit, we did see a huge spike in our caseload, as you can imagine. And then with the SNAP increase, things started to drop, and it's been continuing to drop. So that will probably be a factor maybe in this upcoming season. So WIC is the one that does fluctuate back and forth. That's why it's so important for us. And I want to reiterate, even if we do, or when we go to the mobile app, we still want to have a presence at the market to help them shop, help them navigate, and to have that fun experience and get the children involved, because we know that's key to helping them redeem those benefits.
Great. And I have another question. Do you have any ranchers as vendors?
We do. Yes, we do.
Okay. And then third, last question, given that there is going to be an electronic transaction, will the sellers or the vendors have the opportunity to trade cryptocurrency?
Oh, I like how you're thinking. At this point, no, not right now. You're just a little too advanced for us, but who knows what the future holds, but no, not at this time. And you just reminded me that, of course, all of this new application, there's no cost to the vendor. There's no extra equipment needed that some of the other states were piloting with. So I just wanted to share that info.
Okay, great. Well, maybe the farmers market can create their own crypto coin. Thank you.
Thank you for your questions.
Let's see. Again, looking at the hands. I did see you raise your regular hand, Linda, but I'm going to look at the electronic hands for a minute. Erin, it looks like you've got a hand up.
Yeah, so for mobile farmers market where the vendors aren't present, are we still able to accept the checks, and how would that work if we're selling like on behalf of farmers?
So great question. And I actually asked that with our developer. And so it looks like for some reason, if someone broke the phone, lost their phone, or I'm sorry, if a farmer, if that applied to them, I said, will the market manager be able to accept those benefits on their behalf? And they said, yes. So that will be a functionality.
Actually, I meant this year, because we're still using the paper checks this year, right? So
yes, and
I'm not familiar.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, business as normal for this year. This will be our last year of checks. This will not go into effect until 2022 for the mobile application.
So as a mobile farmers market where we don't have the vendors present, we would have like our own vendor ID. Can we still accept these checks as a mobile farmers market? This is my first year ever doing it, so.
Oh, I'm sorry. When I heard mobile, I'm already going, you're talking about the other kind of mobile. Yes. And do you know what, Erin, if you can send me your information, I'm happy to have kind of a one-off training with you to make sure all of your questions are answered.
And how about Carol Palmer? I'll just go straight across my screen.
Okay. Hello. Thank you. The presentation was great. I do have a couple of questions as far as the role of the market manager with the transition. So my understanding is that this is going to be the mobile to mobile is the customer phone to the farmer phone, the vendor phone, correct?
Correct.
And so their bank account will be linked into that within their phone system, that kind of thing?
Yes, correct.
So as market manager, we really aren't involved with any of the transaction during the season other than signing them into the program and making sure they've got the training for the details of non-discrimination and all that good stuff.
Right, making sure they have their sign up, just kind of business as normal. But as I just mentioned with Erin, for some reason, if someone didn't charge their phone, but they want to make that sale, then they could go to you and you would have their stamp code number, and then you can make that transaction on their behalf.
Okay, so we'll have like the super app then, in a way.
Yes, you will.
Okay.
Yeah, if need be, absolutely. We really want to make sure, we don't want to hinder this process, so we just want to try to make it provide many options as possible.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Linda, I think you had your hand up before. Linda Rosales, there you are.
Yes, it's going to be pretty hard for these older people to do this, I believe. It's hard enough as it is. They can't keep track of the checks. Have you thought about a credit card?
And are you referring to the participants having a hard time with the transition?
Yes.
Okay, so we've actually done a lot of interviews and met with a lot of the senior centers just to try to get their input. Again, if the phone is too overwhelming to download the app, then again, we are happy to issue literally just a piece of paper that has the information, the secured information to take to the farmers market. So again, we'll have a few options and a lot of in-depth training for everybody involved.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Colleen?
Hi, I have a different issue. Already our seniors and our senior vendors don't have applicable phones, but they'll have to work on that this year. I live in Truth or Consequences, and every year I've had to call Martin, and drive to Albuquerque and get online to update my machine because we don't have AT&T here in Tier C of any use. I mean, I would get like a 2% signal. Is there any other way besides driving long distances with a machine to go and update the machine before market?
And just to clarify, Colleen, when you're saying your machine, do you mean your phone to get that updated? Because that's what's going to be required,
No,
or
no,
your
the
internet hotspot? What are you referencing?
EBT machine?
So I think you're talking about this double up snap program, because we currently don't have any hardware, any machines involved.
Okay. All right, then I'll have to go bug them because at this point, I can't drive anymore. So getting up, it means two people have got to make a trip 150 miles away in order to get a decent signal. So last year I did it while I was in chemo, while I was getting chemo, and I sat there and updated the machine, but it's not up on my agenda this year. So
Right, of course, I can imagine. Hopefully they can definitely help you out and maybe figure out a different location that you could maybe utilize, like say a grocery store or a bank's internet, something like some kind of partnership like that we've done in other communities.
yeah, Tier C is pretty much lacking in AT&T. As far as the seniors and our vendors go, as far as phones go, I mean, half of my customers are on landlines. They don't even use cell phones. Some of my vendors don't have cell phones, or they're using the flip phones. I mean,
and that's okay. We can definitely accommodate that. That will not kick them off the program. They will still be able to access those foods.
Because they are the ones that are as backward as you can get are the ones that are most apt to get the most coupons. They get the most vouchers redeemed.
Right, and we'll make sure that continues.
If they can't deposit it, if they can, it's okay for the customer to have a little, the little picture thing and take it to the vendor, but if the vendor can't access it, there's going to have to be a way for them to get those things into their bank account.
Yes, and we're looking at all of that.
Okay.
Right, it's good.
I'm retiring this year, so I've got my assistant manager on now, so it's like you really don't want to dump something on somebody brand new.
I understand that. Thank you for your questions, Colleen.
Yeah, the good news is to everyone, we'll all be new in this together next year, and there will be lots of people with similar issues, whether it's for elderly customers or vendors who don't have phones, or as Sarah mentioned, if there's, battery issues or just a phone being lost or something. So it sounds like there will be plenty of ways to work around that in kind of old-fashioned paper, and different ways. So it'll just be a matter of getting everyone trained next year for that. I think, Joe, you had your hand up?
Yes, this is Rhonda. Can you hear? Okay, last year at the presentation, y'all mentioned there was a way that you were going to do reporting so that the markets could have some awareness of what sales were. Are you still considering that?
Rhonda, I'm sorry, it was hard to hear you. So I believe you were asking for the sales, the redemption from the last season you would like to know?
No, this will be for next year. Can you hear me now?
Yes, it's a little bit better. Thank you.
Okay. Last year at the presentation at the conference, you mentioned that as you go toward this mobile app, because the markets will actually be kind of out of the loop. But someone had asked, will there be a way to gather how many sales were done at the market? And I'm asking you, are you planning that as part of your reporting?
Yes, absolutely. So right there on the phone, the farmer can see what his current redemption sales are. He can break that out. And then we will definitely have how we currently report, sales per market, you will also be receiving that information.
Okay, thank you.
Let's see. Trying to see if there are any other hands up. If I'm missing you, please feel free just to unmute yourself and hop in.
Hi, this is George. Oops. Hold on. Question is there going to be a video of this on, say, YouTube so we can go back and listen to this again? My internet is so bad that I am in and out all the time. Sorry.
Absolutely. We're going to provide training in several different platforms to meet everybody's needs, because we do know internet connectivity across our state is a huge challenge. So yes, we are going to have videos, different kinds of tutorials, handouts, all different kinds of visuals available. So absolutely.
And George, even if you want to just go back and listen to this presentation again, it will be available. We'll be sending out the links. All of our sessions from the conference will be recorded, and you can even listen to this session again if you'd like.
Fabulous. Thank you.
It looks like Kyle has his hand up again. You can go ahead and unmute.
Okay,
There you go.
thank you. Yeah, I'm from Shiprock, New Mexico, and so there's a farmers market that operates here. But as far as the metropolitan urban settings, does the farmers market participate in any food deliveries? Could a customer order from their home and expect these goods to be delivered to them?
We are actually currently working on that now within the WIC program, but unfortunately, because of our strict federal regulations, we're not quite there yet. I know SNAP has been exploring this, doing the curbside online shopping, so we are getting closer. It's just been a challenge with what we're up against. But we do, like I said, we were partnering more with like the bulk ordering, trying to get bags already ready for kind of like a curbside drive-by in farmers market to help simplify that. So we really want to explore that, but we're just not there yet.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Sarah, do you have any information about when the WIC clinics will be open again, more for business as usual? You know, when they'll be providing the nutrition education and all the usual, the way things used to be before COVID?
So right now, I'm slowly letting the staff back into the clinics now that everyone has been vaccinated, since they're the frontline staff, because they also do a lot of COVID activities on the side. So we have not heard any word from the governor of when we're able to open up those clinics. We're still providing curbside service. So a lot of the information, like the online training, nutrition education, we're doing through like a telehealth mechanism on the phone, just again, depending on what is available for that participant. So I'm sorry, I don't have an answer. I'm hoping within the next few months, especially now that we're receiving more vaccines, but I'll definitely keep you posted on that.
Great. And in the past, you know, it had always been that if we didn't use our money, if you didn't use the WIC money or the senior money, we were at risk for losing it. They would cut us back the following year. Are they doing that this year, or are they making exceptions, knowing that last year was pretty hard on everybody? And you know, is our total WIC funding going to be what it was last year?
It is, and I'm still actually asking for more money. All of the same rules apply, and luckily we did receive a little bit more funding from both of the programs for the senior and WIC. And again, we're going to do everything that we can to get those in the hands and redeemed. On some of the reporting, I saw that the rate of issuance versus redeemed, especially for the WIC side, that was not a pretty number. And of course, I understand why, but we want to do everything we can to make sure that does not happen again. Great questions.
So I've got another, I don't want to monopolize, but I've got another question. So because that issuance versus redeemed has always been a factor for WIC. And so with the checks, you know, we've had to overprint checks because, you know, we get maybe, I don't know if it's 60% total redemption or something. So you overprint checks. We have to waste money on those overprinted checks. We won't have to do that in the future. Will that mean that there's just, that it will be a more efficient use of the funding that we have?
Yes, that means more money for our participants and our farmers. Absolutely. We've just eliminated a lot of that waste. And we can just kind of also, we can monitor on our end if we can go back into the account saying, oh, they haven't redeemed yet. Let's send them a text reminder like, hey, you still have these benefits in hand, go get them spent. And then after probably, I think these are just the back end that we're still trying to work on. After like say so many reminders toward the end of the season, then we can pull and reissue. Yeah. Somebody in the chat, or I think it was the chat, asked for my contact information again. So I'm going to put that in there. If anybody else has any other questions, I am happy to answer.
I have a question. I'm sorry. I should. Okay, what I have a question on is with this new program coming up next year, it'll be good for a lot of people that want to shop when the money comes available. At the present time, we have our checks coming into market after a month or two, and then people can spend them. In other words, the checks aren't distributed immediately as they're distributed into these sections that they go to. Why that has to be, I don't know, but that's the way it has been in the past. So I'm glad this is going to make better use of funds available sooner.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to kind of give you why that happens a little bit, just because this is a unique state, each region is drastically different with our weather patterns and when markets start on what's available. So the clinics, especially for more on the WIC side, sometimes they will wait because it's not the peak farmers market season. So they want to make it more enticing to get the families at the markets to have more variety to spend. So that's why there's sometimes some different variances throughout the state.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Just to back Sarah up on that, over the years, as we've worked with the Department of Health on strategies regarding the distribution of the checks, you know, we've really advised that it is better to get, especially new customers. You know, if you've never gone to a farmer's market before, and this is your first time, and if you go in June, let's say, or, you know, maybe earlier May, if some markets are open, and there's really not much except maybe some radishes and some greens. And then people just think, oh, that's all that's ever at the farmer's market. You know, they don't know that it changes. So we just think that in terms of helping new customers have a greater selection, to understand that there is a greater selection, getting them going usually in July is a better timing. Why sometimes they seem like they are even stalled out into you know, October is a whole different a whole different problem that has happened here and there. But yeah, hope that answers a little bit more to George.
And I'm hoping, even though it's only a few days, I'm hoping that the extension of the last day to spend finally after Thanksgiving will help everybody. Because I actually heard that a lot more from the participants. Got some calls saying, why can't I spend these checks? You know, it's Thanksgiving. And so immediately we just wanted to make that change. So I was really pleased about that. Colleen?
Oh, yeah.
Hi, I have another question. You say that WIC comes to farmers markets. The Sierra County Farmers Market we haven't seen a WIC person come to the farmer's market in the 11 years I've been there. We have only a part-time office and they don't allow them to work on Saturdays. They can only work on like one comes in on a Tuesday and one comes in on a Thursday, something like that. And so they really haven't ever participated at the market, encouraging young people to come out with their little ones and explore the fruits and vegetables. Is there any way of us ever getting support from WIC?
No, absolutely. And since you're kind of more of a unique situation, we've been short-staffed for a really long time. And so the current staff that manages the TRC Public Health Office, we consider that a satellite office. So the staff from Deming actually have to travel to manage that. And so then also, in addition, coming back on the weekends is really hard to see if we have enough bodies to provide that support. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. And they're not, I should clarify, because of this short staff, they're not available to be there every day or, when the market is on the weekends. We try to be there more on the peak season when we're really, as Denise said, issuing those checks during the prime market time. So it will again vary for when you see staff, depending on the region and so forth, and staffing availability.
Okay, yeah, because it's our young people seem to believe in getting up with their children before 10 and then market's over at 11:30. So yeah, and I don't know that they're getting the checks. We don't know what's happening with WIC because there's no communication.
Yeah, they're definitely getting the checks, and I'm happy to talk to you offline to kind of share our process and how we distribute and things like that, especially when we're not being able to be present at the market.
That would be great. Thank you.
Does anyone have any other contract questions for Sarah? Making sure that you've got your packets, that you've got the information that you need from your packets. I think she showed you how to find that online, but are there any questions related to either contracts for new farmers or your own market packets?
And I will share, if these individuals happen to be on the call, since I've been teleworking, it's really hard to get into the office, just we're very limited. So I do owe a few folks some packets. So I have not forgotten about you. They will be coming in the next 2 weeks. Just wanted to put that out there. You have not been forgotten. Kyle, Jim, Kyle, do you have another question?
Yes. And so I was curious if you or your team were able to advocate for additional funding or increase the funding through the grants during the legislation season.
Yes, so we try a few different avenues of trying to find funding. Obviously, we always go back to USDA to have an increase. We partner with NMSU for more funding. This is really great when I can rely on my partners with Denise and Pam Roy from Farm to Table, because they're huge advocates. They have so many great ins with the legislative session to help pass those bills. That's why last year we actually got the additional junior bill for more funding that we were able to do those bulk purchases on. So we will definitely continue because we know the need is there. We're one of the highest states with food insecurity, and we need to do all that we can.
Great, thank you. Enjoy your day.
Thank you. John?
Hi, Sarah. In your video or your PowerPoint presentation, you said that there was a limit of a 5-acre farm. Our farm is split between cropland. Basically, we've got 7 acres in cropland, but we're only actually farming on maybe about 1.5 acres for fruits and vegetables. So does that mean we would still qualify?
Yes, you would still qualify.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have to say, Sarah, I didn't remember that there was ever a limit on the size of a farm. Is that new?
No, it's been in the federal regs for a while.
I also had never seen that they had to have 3 unique products in able to participate, because we may have one farmer that'll bring just sweet corn to market, and we've never disallowed them from participating. I've never even seen that. Neither of those things are on the farmer application, so I don't think a farmer would ever know to tell you that they had more than 5 acres, or if that's supposed to be the responsibility of the market. But they fill out the application and none of that information is on there. So none of our farmers, at least at my market, would ever tell you that information to qualify them in that regard.
Let me go back and look into that to see if they're going to have any updates on the federal regulations. Because again, the last thing we want to do, it's already cumbersome as is to make this more daunting. So let me send some of these questions back to our headquarters for flexibility, and I can get back with you on that.
Because there is really a long history of there being vendors who only have watermelon, or who only have at some of the and maybe the 5 Sandoval or whatever, that WIC program is slightly different, but I know there's a lot of vendors who really just kind of specialize. So that does seem a little be good for you to check. Thanks.
Absolutely. Oh, thank you for that. And you just reminded me, for anyone who is a vendor with 5-SIP, we also have now, again, that joint vendor agreement. So you don't have to fill out 2. So take advantage of that. And that agreement is also on our website where I showed you, or again, I'm happy to email that to you.
And it looks like we have a couple hands up. Catherine Gordon. And we have about 5 minutes left in this session. So Catherine, if you want to go ahead and unmute.
I'm trying. I'm trying. There I am.
Here you are.
Yeah, my question was about our situation is a little bit unique. I'm with Nob Hill Growers Market in Albuquerque, and I was not the manager last year, but also the market did not open last year. They just did what they could to help vendors sell to individual customers, but it was limited. Okay, so I'm coming back in, not having signed an agreement, and you said something about sending out the packets. I assume that will include the agreements for the markets and agreements for vendors to sign.
So Catherine, let me just clarify. So if you're brand new and you need an agreement, then you will receive that packet, kind of the welcome packet with all of the banking, your WIC sign, and so forth, and guidance.
I'm having we operated accepting WIC and senior for years and years.
No, right. So if you
it's just that last year I didn't. I'm sorry, you keep freezing up on me.
Okay, so I will double check your file, but I believe you signed a contract 2 years ago, so you're still current.
Oh, that's good. Okay. Actually, I'd like to go over all of this. Then what is am I correct about the packets?
You should have everything that you need. But again, once I get someone hired and we're preparing for the new season, we'll go through our master list and see who needs what. So hopefully in the next month or so, everyone might be receiving some information.
Oh, so we should wait until you contact us and tell us how to get up to speed.
Yes.
Sounds good. Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
And there is one more question. Sorry, Denise. Joe had his hand up, Joe and Rhonda. And then
Yes.
I'll probably be our last.
Sorry. This has to do with the rules that some people were questioning they weren't aware of. I wasn't aware of the 75% rule, and it said that you have to grow 75%. And then another rule says you can't resell. What's that 25%?
Definitely reselling of any fruit or produce is not allowed, especially from any other state, any coming in through Mexico, which we've seen. So I can get clarification on the remaining 25%.
Thank you.
Great. Well, I think that takes us to exactly 2 o'clock when we will be starting our next session here pretty shortly. But thank you so much, Sarah, for being here with everybody today. And I know that you're overwhelmed since you've you were busy before Martin left, and now you're even maybe a little busier. But I know you're very accessible. So if people have questions, please be sure to direct them to Sarah, and I know she'll get back to you as soon as you can, or send them to us, and we'll try to help in any way that we can. And we really appreciate you speaking to everyone, Sarah. So thank you.
Thank you, everyone. And again, thank you all for your patience. I will get back to you as soon as I can. So thank you. Enjoy the conference.
Thanks.
Thank you. If you're sticking around for the next session, we're going to play an ad while we get everybody switched back over to an attendee.
Hello, this is Ashley Taylor with the New Mexico Farmers Marketing Association. I am the local food and farming program coordinator, and I manage our online and in-person tiered food safety trainings. These trainings were brought together through the collaboration of the New Mexico Farmers Marketing Association, New Mexico State University Cooperative Extension, La Montanita Co-op, La Semilla Food Center, Agriculture on Network, and many other food safety partners. Completing the tiered training will give you a deeper understanding of food safety on your farm, no matter the size. Food safety on your farm starts with you, and your impact extends beyond your farm when feeding your community. We will do a deep dive into how to recognize hazards, assess risks, and provide not only technical assistance, but ideas and strategies to approach and mitigate your specific issues in a way that makes sense for your operation. Tier 1 provides an introduction and overview of food safety practices, whereas Tier 2 will provide a deeper dive into food safety understanding with scenarios and farm risk assessment technical assistance. The HUB, or Farm Risk Assessment, is a document that highlights the control measures you should put into place to follow safety protocols and keep your customers safe. We provide templates for a risk assessment for both farms and food hubs to help you navigate and document food safety protocols for your operation. Each farm is unique with unique challenges. The questions and scenarios in these trainings are a prompt for you to think and look on your farm. What are the hazards and risks unique to your farm? How are you going to address them? Do what you are able. You can't do everything, but you can be aware and improve as you learn. We are not here to tell you how to run your farm. We are here to guide you in safe practices so that you may better serve your customers. Whether if it's for one of the following situations or not, food safety is everyone's responsibility, no matter the farm size. Food safety trainings can be used to meet requirements for the following outlets, as well as setting the highest standard for your operation to ensure your customers' health and safety from consuming your products. For those who are not familiar, we provide tier food safety trainings both in person and online, but currently we are offering only online trainings once a month, and all in-person trainings are currently on hold until further notice due to the pandemic. Our trainings are presented by lead food safety trainers from around the state. The tiered training has also been adapted by some food hubs, such as La Semilla Food Center, to provide an in-house training for their growers selling through them, as well as trainings provided in Spanish. If you are a member of the NMFMA, these trainings can be attended for free. If you are not a member yet, it is $25 for an annual membership with the NMFMA. Your membership will not only allow you to attend both Tier 1 and Tier 2 trainings, but also offers access to a variety of exclusive programs and resources, including custom marketing and outreach tools, food access programs, capacity building programs, professional development opportunities like these food safety trainings, and much more. To learn more and to register for an upcoming training, please visit newmexicofma.org or reach out to me directly and I can help you get started. Thank you.
Okay, Sarah. It looks like we're just waiting for Tiana.
Tiana was here a second ago, I thought, but
okay, I got her.
I'm not. Oh, great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. But I believe that is everybody.
Good.